Welcome back. I'm excited because today I have another very special Milwaukee neighborhood to show to you. We are back on the North Shore, so between Lake Michigan and the Milwaukee River. We are here in Shorewood, and this is a very desirable community, very family friendly with good schools, very walkable, and it offers a really interesting mix between urban and suburban. So I'm excited to show you around. We've got a lot to cover. Let's get started. The village of Shorewood is one of the few neighborhoods in Milwaukee that are highly rated in almost every single category. Public schools are rated A+ on niche.com. Shorewood also gets an A+ in the category family friendly. And the next one may come as a little bit of a surprise. It is also rated A for great nightlife, which is contributed to the many local restaurants and bars along Oakland Avenue and Capitol Drive. Also great scores for commuting because Shorewood is so close to the freeway and to downtown. It is also a relatively safe neighborhood, so A rated for crime and safety, and also top rated for outdoor activities, health and fitness. Not many neighborhoods in the Milwaukee metro area get rated so high in so many categories. Overall, Shorewood shares the podium only with its neighbor to the north, which is Whitefish Bay, and with Elm Grove, which is to the west side of Milwaukee. So if all of that sounds almost too good to be true and you're wondering where's the catch, you have guessed correctly. There has to be at least one downside, and in this case it is the cost of living in Shorewood, in particular home prices. With only about 14,000 people living in Shorewood, it is a relatively small and exclusive community, and no surprise, median home prices are currently at about $440,000. Just for reference, Milwaukee County as a whole has currently a median of about $220,000, so that is almost half the price. Prices can vary quite a bit, and while $350,000 to $500,000 is usually a good starting budget for a home in average size and condition, larger homes or homes that have been extensively updated are selling regularly between $500,000 and $800,000. And the market is quite small. Only 122 single-family homes have sold in the last 12 months, and usually they sell very, very competitive. The closer you get to the lake, the higher, of course, are the home values, and with that also come higher property taxes. So taxes are definitely something you want to account for in your budget. Properties that are directly on the lake are of course a category of their own, and usually they sell for $2 million and up, and not much is coming on the market. Only one or two are sold on average every year. Speaking about location, let's take a quick look at the map. So Shorewood is very centrally located, which is part of its attractiveness. We're just a few minutes north of downtown Milwaukee here, and right on Lake Michigan. Here we have the Milwaukee River. Let me zoom in here a little bit and show you some of the details. So in terms of easy commute, you have Capitol Drive, which connects Shorewood very quickly here to the freeway, to I-43, which gets you downtown. And then we have Oakland Avenue as a main street cutting here through north-south, which is where most of the shopping and restaurants and bars are. And then also we got here Lake Drive with the Lake Drive mansions here on both sides, close to or on the shoreline of Lake Michigan. In terms of parks, we got on the Milwaukee River, we have Cedarburg Park and Hubbard Park down here, and then Atwater Park here on the lake shore. We'll talk about those in just a minute. All right, we were just speaking about home prices before. If you don't feel like spending seven figures just to have a view of Lake Michigan, you can also just bike down to Atwater Park and enjoy the very same Lake Michigan there for free. It's a public park with plenty of space for a picnic and benches to sit on and enjoy the views, right on top of the bluff and just a few steps away from your car. If you want to go down to the lake, you can take the stairs. If I've counted correctly, it's about 132 steps straight down. And if you're not a fan of heights, you can also take the long way down. There is a nice slow walking path, which is also really good for walking back up. Watching the sun come up in the morning over Lake Michigan is always spectacular, and if you're up early, that is certainly a great way to start your day. But there is really no bad time to come here. Any time of the day is fine. It's always pretty. and the lake oftentimes looks very different depending on the wind and the clouds and the sun, and sometimes really dramatic. Down on the beach, the park also offers a really nice boardwalk along the shore. There are a number of tables with umbrellas to sit and enjoy a snack, and of course there is a really nice sandy beach to play, even though the water is usually cold until later in the summer. Just be careful, the two piers are old and they're not in good shape, and they are therefore off limits. And if you're really adventurous and you like to snorkel, there is a large shipwreck right to the north of the park in relatively shallow water. If the water is clear, you can even spot it from above some days. All in all, Edgewater Park is a real jam, and if I have a few minutes between showings, it's always a place I like to stop for a little break and enjoy the horizon. Let's take a quick look at the history. Not too much was going on in Shorewood in the late 1800s. It was mostly just woodlands. But all that changed in the early 1900s when a streetcar was built on Oakland Avenue and connected the then sleepy village of Shorewood with the bustling downtown of Milwaukee. This made commuting downtown easy, and at that point a lot of affluent Milwaukeeans started building their mansions along the lakeshore in Shorewood. By 1930, Shorewood had grown almost tenfold to about its present-day size of about 14,000 people. The streetcar is gone today, but Shorewood is still home to an affluent population. Looking back at the history and when Shorewood was developed, that also means that today most houses are about 100 years old. And that's okay because they were generally very, very well built, but they often come with their typical features and quirks. For example, basement ceilings are usually not high enough to be finished for living space, or a lot of the buildings are actually heated with hot water radiators as opposed to forced air. The big difference is that radiant heat does not dry out your house or your skin as much in the winter, so that's a positive, but the downside is that you cannot use it to cool a house. But Lake Michigan's cold water provides oftentimes a cooling breeze on many summer nights. You hear the phrase, "it's cooler by the lake," here quite a bit in Milwaukee. And it's true, most of the time when it's a real scorcher further inland, it's just pleasant in Shorewood, and so for that reason many homeowners never have seen a real reason to install central air conditioning. So who lives in Shorewood? Niche.com has it ranked as the #1 best suburb for young professionals in all of Wisconsin. Many of our clients who have bought in Shorewood certainly fit that profile, but of course not all of them. Many have young kids and they're balancing their desire for a family-friendly neighborhood with great schools and walkability with some local evening entertainment like bars and restaurants, and they also want to be close to downtown for the real nightlife. However, that does not mean that everyone in Shorewood is young and with little kids. A lot of people like it there so much that they never made the jump to suburbia and they just stayed in Shorewood. Renting is also a popular option. There are quite a few apartments. However, rents are of course also on the higher side. By the way, if you are contemplating moving to Milwaukee, you probably have a ton of questions. I know I did when I moved here, and I'm happy to answer them for them, so definitely reach out to me. In fact, a lot of people reach out to me every week after they've been watching one of my videos. You can email me, you can text me, you can call me. Whatever works best for you, I'll get your questions answered. Next, I want to talk a little bit more about parks in Shorewood, in particular about Estabrook Park, which is the biggest and offers 125 acres of public green space. It follows the Milwaukee River with its mostly wooded and natural shoreline, and it is also part of the huge Milwaukee Oak Leaf Trail system. There are a number of different sports fields, a designated dog exercise area, but perhaps most importantly, there is a public beer garden which follows Milwaukee's German roots and beer traditions. The beer at Estabrook Beer Garden is actually imported from the Hofbräuhaus München, which is the original brewery licensed to supply the king in Bavaria, so their branding is actually totally legit. Of course, this makes Estabrook a favorite gathering spot for locals after work or on the weekend. Kids can enjoy themselves on the playground close by or throw some balls, while the parents are hanging out and enjoying some adult-sized beer. I'm here in Estabrook Park in Shorewood, and actually I'm right now walking on the Oak Leaf Trail, which is part of a very large trail system spanning all the way throughout Milwaukee County, 135 miles in total. Super popular for biking, for jogging, great recreational value for the weekend. A lot of people like coming here just to chill out, and we're in the middle of the city here. So this trail just follows the river all the way down to downtown. If you want to know more about Milwaukee neighborhoods, cost of living, if you want to know about the suburbs, or if you want to know what the winter really feels like here in Wisconsin, definitely check out my YouTube channel. Estabrook Park also offers great access to the Milwaukee River, which has been vastly improved thanks to the many environmental efforts that took place over the last decades, and it is a very popular spot for salmon fishing in fall and attracts fishermen from near and far every year. Chinook salmon start running up the river midsummer until October, coho salmon then later until November. This spot that you can see here actually is not in Shorewood, it's just up the river in Glendale. But you can actually see a salmon try to jump that little waterfall here. Just a second, wait for it. Here it goes. If you're not familiar with Milwaukee and you're thinking about relocating here, I definitely recommend our free relocation guide. It's 40 pages of very densely packed information about everything that you want to know about the greater Milwaukee area. It's based on all the questions that we typically get from relocation clients, and we try to answer all of them in this relocation guide, and you can download it for free on our website onpointrg.com. And that's all I had for you today on Shorewood. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay updated on all things real estate in Milwaukee, and I will see you at the next one.